Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on my community talk and learn more about improvement proposals. Today, we will learn the evolution of Ethereum with improvement proposal. I'm Pooja Ranjan. I work with Ethereum EthCatHerders, and Ethereum EthCatHerders is a group to support Ethereum protocol. You just have heard a wonderful talk by Chiki to know about protocol contributors. We just discussed why project should fund protocol guild, and I'm going to give you some more reasons for that. I believe EIP plays an important role in Ethereum protocol. The governance has a huge community engagement, and in next 20 minutes, I'm hoping that you would learn about the process, the governance, the network upgrade, and the role of improvement proposal in that. You would know where to and how to contribute to Ethereum standards for mainnet, application layer, and layer 2 projects. Since the launch of Ethereum, we have been following EIP-1 as a standard process. EIP, Ethereum Improvement Proposal, is a design document providing information to technical specification, describing new feature, the process, and whatever goes into the ecosystem. Some of you may already know about the structure, the type, and the category of improvement proposal. It is divided into 3 types: meta, standard, and informational. Meta is something that is a mandatory requirement for the community to follow, for the blockchain to follow. Informational are just added for adding more information to the community. It is optional. People may follow or not follow. The standard track, which is divided further into 4 different categories: core, networking, interface, and ERC, are the most active type of proposals that we would look around. And all of these are being reviewed by EIP editors, and we will learn more about it. The process of suggesting improvement proposal is very simple. Anyone can make a pull request, move it into draft, and they can leave it open for editors to add comment when moved to review status. We collect community feedback, try to incorporate suggestions if possible, and thus we try to make sure whatever we are proposing is a good standard for the Ethereum community. It could be for protocol layer, it could be for application layer, and you would also learn about the layer 2 improvement proposals. Generally, these proposals are left into last call for 14 days and then moved to final status if no further changes are suggested. Sometimes it ends up in withdrawn when author does not want to move it any further, or there is some other proposal which is a better fit. Stagnant is an intermediary phase, and it is moved into the status by EIP bot when it is unattended for over 6 months. Living is a special status provided to proposals which are never expected to reach to the final status. However, we believe that these proposals will keep receiving changes, updates. EIP-1 is one of the living status proposal, and we have only 2. The community was small, and the process was simple. We were doing well, but as Ethereum grew, as blockchain ecosystem evolved, the need of managing community increased. We wanted to have proposals which are efficient, which are well-maintained, and it should be properly reviewed. For that, there was a need of repository split. Proposal 7329, ERC EIP repository split, talks about that. Last year, in summer of 2023, authors like Client and Dano Farin documented this proposal to explain what is there with this repository split. So our current GitHub repository looks something like this. So now we have Ethereum/EIPs for EIP, which are non-application based, and for application-based proposals, we have Ethereum/ERCs. You may notice that interface is common on both the sides. That's because we also need interface proposal for client coordination, client interoperation, as well as for application layer connection. And now we have two different sets of EIP editors and ERC editors to make sure all these proposals are well-maintained, well-reviewed. The process did not change much. It is the same, except we added a little bit more information for the core proposals. So core proposals are proposals which are considered for Ethereum network upgrade that gets into the blockchain. Here we have defined the timeline when they can move these proposals from one status to another. Obviously, the first one is moving into the draft, and it can be opening a simple pull request. When proposal is ready or the clients, some of the clients have agreed to implement them, then it is considered for either inclusion or maybe moved on to the DevNet for testing purposes. That is the point when proposal can be moved to review status. Similarly, moving to last call is not as same as other proposals. Here we move on to the last call when a proposal is on the public testnet. We go for testing on different level. So we have DevNet, we have public testnet, and then finally a proposal is deployed on the mainnet. So until that proposal is deployed, we cannot move it to the final status. Little did we know, application layer community grouped together and they introduced another set of proposals for layer 2 projects called roll-up improvement proposals. They are called as RIPs, but don't get confused, they are here to live. The structure does not look very different. It is more or less similar like other GitHub repositories, but now our repository got expanded. Now we have 3 different repositories to track these proposals, track these standards which are built for Ethereum ecosystem. And we have 3 different set of editors. Here, if you will notice that the category under standard track for RIPs are also mentioned as core, and that's because these proposals could be deployed on the Ethereum mainnet. It will be when the time comes. So we have considered it to be kept under the core category only instead of having RIP as a separate category. Now, if we are doing so many things around Ethereum ecosystem, how we are managing it? That's where EthCatHerders comes into the picture. We are proud to say that we engage with the community at multiple levels. We facilitate meeting, create educational content, and communicate it to the community. EIP-IP meetings are the meetings where most of the governance-related decisions are being taken. This meeting is organized once in 2 weeks, and all EIP authors, ERC authors, and RIP authors are invited. They discuss on the state of the present process. Also review any recommendation changes suggested for the current process. They also review some proposals, some pull requests which are existing in the repository, but they don't know what to do. Because sometimes it could be very difficult to make a decision because Ethereum has a very diverse community. We want to make sure that every voice is heard, everyone is listened to, attended to, so we want to make sure that even if it could be a decision by EIP authors, person has been given enough time, community has been given enough space to respond to, react to, and then we make any decision. We'll learn a little bit more about it. Moving into the governance part now. For governance, we have 3 key players: editors, authors, and the community, as I was just explaining here. Starting with the EIP number allocation. Like EIP number has always its own charm, its own significance. You may have heard about ERC-20, which went popular when blockchain ecosystem was growing. Most of the projects were based on ERC-20. They use that as a token, and it is a very, very popular token standard. Some of the protocol followers may have heard about EIP-1559. And whoever are following Ethereum upgrade must have known about EIP 4844. So yes, EIP number has its own significance and its own value in the Ethereum community. Allocation of these numbers were very simple. We simply used to use the pull request number or the issue number to make sure that, okay, fine, this is going to be the EIP number. But some notorious parties started making misuse of this process. They started adding empty issues to grab something called as, fancy EIP number. They thought that if they would get fancy EIP number, that would become popular as ERC20. But that created problem for EIP editors cleaning up the GitHub repository, so on and so forth. So they decided to discard the process, and the new process of sequential EIP number allocation was brought into the picture. This decision was obviously taken by EIP editor, but as I'm mentioning, Ethereum community is diverse, and we would like to include everybody. For that purpose, we have created Proposal 5069. It's a document which talks about the do's and don'ts of EIP editors. It talks about what editors can do, and if they cannot do, what is the alternative suggested here. This is the second and living proposal existing on Ethereum repository. When there are cases when we are not able to make any simple decision, what we do is we create call for input. Do not get it confused with CFI. CFI is for core proposals only, and this is call for input. That means editors are inviting input. It will look something like the screen shared on the right side of it. It is a GitHub issue where editors are requested to add their input. Community can also do that, but based on the inputs received, votings are done by editors, and based on the voting, we make a decision on whether to keep this thing on or not. We want issues to be closed, we want pull requests to be addressed, but there should be a timeline for that. So for this purpose, we have decided a timeline of 30 days. And in case the decision, the voting is not clear, it's indecisive, then keeper of consensus make the decision for the group. Talking about keeper of consensus, at this point, keeper of consensus is our editor, Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson has proposed some of the future improvement for EIP proposals and the process that we are maintaining so far. So whatever we are talking right now is not a part of the present process, but it could be. He proposes charter. Charter proposed the concept of working group. That means providing some autonomy to the group, to the repository, and to the people for whom these standards are being built. They can publish their proposal, they can facilitate discussion, and they can uphold the quality, which so far is a responsibility of EIP editor. These could be semi-autonomous bodies, and they can have their own governance. EIP editors can be a member of them, but most of the responsibility will be on shoulders of working group. So now, how would it look like? Well, we have already seen the 3 GitHub repository, and it is my representation of working group here. So if we are going by the repositories, I can imagine for core proposals, because we have 2 different sets of layers here, we could have 2 different working groups. Similarly, for application side, we have ERC dev meeting, so that could be ERC working group and wallet working group. For rollups, we have just 1 as of now. All these things, all these proposals will lead us toward network upgrade, especially the core one. Some of you may have heard about the Dencun upgrade, which we are expecting next week. And it will be followed by Prague, Electra, and Osaka F***. The name is not decided yet. This is my speculation of timeline. It's not official yet. Deneb or Cancun, which is also known as Dencun, is going to be our next hard fork, which we are expecting on March 13th at 13:55 UTC. Ethereum EthCatHerders would be live streaming them in association with the Ethereum Foundation, ETH Stakers, Anthony Sisal. We would want to make it a community event. We would invite everyone to join us and follow the countdown and make sure that you have already upgraded your names. If you are a validator, if you are running Ethereum chain clients, please upgrade it to the latest release that has been published on blog.ethereum.com. This upgrade has already been tested on Gorley, Sipolia, and Halsky. And just we are counting down. It's almost ready. And we are so excited to have this thing. This upgrade includes 9 proposals. 9 proposals to make some changes to the Ethereum blockchain. What could be those changes? If this is a question, the answer is the PEEP and EIP series. This series, we organize this podcast to invite all EIP authors to talk about these proposals which goes into the hard fork. They talk about the utility, the specification, the implementation, and why they want to have this on Ethereum chain. This could be a little technical, but it is a very good overview of proposals that get into Ethereum blockchain. Let's talk a little bit about hard fork meta EIP. Hard fork meta EIP basically describes what is getting into an upgrade. If you take a look here, Proposal 606 has documented the first upgrade on Ethereum blockchain ever, which is called Homestead. We used to maintain this hard fork meta EIP, but that was discontinued after Muir Glacier that happened in January 2020, if I have not mistaken. At the time, we started building up execution specs. We started documenting the specs into Python language. So we decided to move all specs in .md format in the execution specs. However, as I was mentioning earlier, the ecosystem grew, Ethereum evolved, and people decided to bring it back. Now we have 2 layers of chain and 2 layers in a chain, and we would like to make sure that people are aware of the specs getting into it. So Tim Bako documented proposal 7568 to backfill since Berlin to Chapella, and now we have hard fork meta available for all future upgrades. Now when we are having these upgrades, we have hard fork meta, we would like to add it with proposals. For Dencun, we have already seen the final list. It has been tested on the testnet, and it is expected on the mainnet in less than a week, I guess. So for future upgrades, what we are going to do, we are going to open discussion. This is the list of proposals which have been proposed. It is there for inclusion. They are called as consider for inclusion. And for Osaka, the list is also very tentative, but proposal which we could not include in Prague and Electra have been moved forward. We could only include a few proposals because we want that client team get enough time to work on these proposals and make sure they are robust. Well, if all these information may have inspired you, if you want to make a contribution to the Ethereum protocol, or to the application layer, or to the rollup, my recommendation here would be start following developers call. These are all public call available on ETH protocol YouTube, so you can follow all CodeDevs meetings. You can also join ETH R&D Discord. You will be flooded with a lot of channels on your left side of the screen, but that is there to help you out only. Like you will find your area of interest and you can go ask questions that you would like to. It could be overwhelming, but when you get into it, people would be around to support you to answer your questions. Similarly, if you are interested on the research side of it, if you are someone who would like to document a standard for Ethereum protocol or for Ethereum ecosystem, the recommendation is to go check out ETH Research Forum. ETH Research are for research papers, and many of the proposals comes out from there. Every proposal has to be discussed, and for that, we create this Fellowship of Ethereum Magician page where we discuss it with the community and collect their feedback. To all these things, to make all these things happen in the Ethereum ecosystem, we are proud to be supporting Ethereum protocol. This is the list of Ethereum EthCatHerders contribution. We try to contribute on different levels. So if you are interested in contributing to even Ethereum EthCatHerders, You can reach out to me. I'll be around here to answer any questions. But in case you find this online and you would want to reach us, here are some of our contacts to connect with us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today and to learn more about Ethereum and improvement proposal that has made contribution in the evolution of Ethereum. Have a great day.